I'm about to take a nap. I got work tonight. In ancient Anatolia, excuse me, there's a group of people that linguists connect to modern day Caucasians that lived there. If you don't know where Anatolia is, it's modern day Turkey, essentially. Anyway, there was an ancient group of people that lived there, and they were called the Hurrians. The Hurrians at some point intermingled with and syncretized their culture and religions with an Indo-European people called the Hittites. Now, prior to the Hittites' arrival to Turkey, the Hurrians worshipped a god named Teshub. Teshub was a sky god. He summoned lightning. He was a hero to the Hurrian people, emboldened them, and they worshipped him fervently, with reverence. Arguably one of, if not the most important deity in the Hurrian and indeed Hittite pantheon, although the Hittites called him a different name. So, Teshub is depicted as wielding a great axe in his hand. He was pulled in a chariot by two bulls, and he laid low a giant and chaotic serpent. If there was ever any doubt that we as Europeans, as Caucasoid people, if there was ever any doubt that we've been worshiping Thunor, since minimum, the Bronze Age, you can cast that the fuck aside. Because if you ask me, we've been worshiping him since mammoths roamed. Teshub is Thor. That's Thunor. Now, whether or not we started worshiping Thunor before we started speaking an Indo-European language, I can't really say. But we probably did. And that doesn't really matter. We know who we are genetically, and we know who we are culturally. And we've been that way, the way that we are beyond the memory of man. Now, Christianity, in order for it to appeal to us, and by the way, before I get into this, my hatred for Christianity is totally diminished, gone. I no longer hold any hatred or animosity in my heart for Christianity at all. I'm casting that aside. But for Christianity to appeal to us as Europeans, it needed to syncretize with our ancient and pagan beliefs, our ancient and pagan moral principles that we held on to, that we've carried with us. And I really, honestly, truly do believe that a lot of those beliefs we had for a very long time. And I'm not just talking about the beliefs when it comes to worshiping. I'm talking about honor, decency, dignity, conscientiousness, the desire to be better, the desire to help the downtrodden. Beliefs like that we've always had. I truly believe that. Living in accordance with nature, preserving beauty, loving animals, cultivating life in all its forms, and destroying that which would destroy life. Innovation. We've created marvelous and amazing things. Everything great, really, on planet Earth. That's what's sad. In our comfort and in multicultural societies today, we're all being blamed for what's wretched, what's awful, what's terrible in the world. We white people, we Europeans. But they don't tell you that we ended slavery. They just tell you that we were slavers. They don't tell you that we advocated for equality, that we lauded the men who advocated for equality. I mean, fuck, even General Robert E. Lee of the Confederacy hated slavery. It's true, look it up. Even he hated slavery. I'm not even going to get into that, but I don't think that Robert E. Lee was a bad man. Every culture on planet Earth has enslaved others at one point or another, and has killed and has conquered. The reason why we as white people are hated is because we did all those things too, but better than everybody. We're hated because we did everything better than everybody. That's why we're hated. All the comforts of the world, all the technological advances, we made them. Now, I'm not going to say me personally, because I could never make any shit like that. And I'm a very, very simple, average guy. There's not a lot in life that I want. I want very little. I'm very low maintenance. In fact, I really just want to live like those ancient ancestors of mine that lived in accordance with nature. Somewhere out in the woods, the fuck away from this crazy, psycho world. That's what I want. And another thing that I really want to... I don't really care if my race is hated anymore. At all. If you're one of those people that despises my race or despises my people or my complexion, or you want to claim my history or some stupid shit like that, you go right ahead. I don't give a fuck. I fucking love being white. I'm not going to apologize for being white either. I am descended from conquerors and innovators. I'm descended possibly from slavers, but I'm also descended from enslaved. I'm descended from people who wanted to end slavery, that had the same complexion as me. And I'm also possibly descended from, and in fact resemble, men who had a darker complexion, but were indigenous to Europe and the Caucasus Mountains. But regardless, they looked like me. I don't accentuate skin color very much. For me, the phenotype and the history and the blood and the features, that's a little bit more important to me. Oh, and culture. Culture. That's the most important thing to me. Culture and blood. And that's what this video is about. And I'm going to end it pretty shortly after I say this. Brothers and sisters, there's some cultures that we just cannot coexist with. And there are cultures among us now in the motherland, in Europe, that cannot coexist with us. And there are men and women who want those cultures to be in Europe that cannot coexist with us. Now, that's not to say that the men and women, all of them, of those cultures are bad people that wish bad upon us, but there are many that do. If you ask me, I think that the wisest thing for us to do would be to perhaps try to enrich those peoples, nations, and send them on their way. Because it's quite obvious that this conflict of interests is not in our best interest. I believe that one of two things is going to transpire in Europe, well, Western Europe at least. Either there's going to be violence, or we're going to be headed down a really dark place. I'm pretty hopeful that we won't be able to go to that dark place. Pretty confident, actually. I believe in my people. But it's in the hands of the younger generation, and I just hope that in some way I can help them. The politicians propagate this anti-whiteness 100%. They seek our demise. I truly believe that. If they don't seek our demise, they're really not doing anything to prove to us that they don't. It's quite the pickle. If Western Europe had the great equilibrium and the last redeeming quality of the United States of America, the right to own a gun, the issues that are happening in the United Kingdom and Ireland would be non-existent. And this video that I'm posting right now, if I was in England, there's a pretty good chance I'd be thrown in jail. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. Which leads me to the conclusion that there's a firm possibility that the only way to solve this problem is not through a peaceful solution. And we need to be prepared for that. I'm saying we, because I'm ready too. May the gods bless you in these dark times. Remember, conscientiousness, decency, dignity, always strive to be better, and honor. Remember this. Live by that. I know good Muslims, friends. I know good Jews, friends. I know very good Christians, family. I think that it would probably be a really good idea if we all reevaluated the situation that we're in. It's a delicate one. Be careful out there.